All right, guys, today we have some very interesting PlayStation 5 information to go over and talk about. Now, obviously, nothing we talk about today is necessarily official. Most of it is rumor territory, but the timing is very interesting because of everything that just went down with Xbox. And so I do have a feeling that behind the scenes, Sony is adjusting accordingly. They are making some last minute changes, and we will know soon enough if these rumors turn out to be true. But we do have something here that's also coming from Amazon that, in my opinion, may seem a little bit more than just a rumor. It may actually be a leak that potentially confirms the release date of the PlayStation 5. But we're going to get into it. If you could do me a favor, if you do end up enjoying the video, be sure to leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification icon. Now, what I want to start with here is an article from Game Reactor. The title reads, Source, PlayStation 5 to adjust plans in response to Xbox Series X pricing. Now, they do have two separate sections of this article, the original story, and then they actually have an update as well. So I want to take a little bit of time to read this and go over it because it is very interesting to me and it does seem extremely plausible. It says here, yesterday was a big day in gaming as Microsoft finally broke its silence with regards to the upcoming Xbox Series X launch, announcing a $499 recommended retail price as well as a November 10th release date, the same day as the launch of the Xbox Series S. While Sony has yet to respond and reveal the same crucial details about the two versions of the PlayStation 5, including one that doesn't have a disk drive, we may have an early indication. A source who spoke anonymously to Game Reactor, who has an overview of the situation, confirmed yesterday that when the Xbox Series X launch details were revealed, the PlayStation 5 was considerably more expensive. Now, what that means is, of course, up for discussion, and no exact price point was shared. For starters, it could be that the version without a disk drive matches the Xbox Series X price, which could mean that the fully featured console, in other words, the one with the disk drive, is either $50 or perhaps even $100 more expensive. Of course, if there's anything we know about this entire process from the initial reveal of both machines right up until today, it's that plans change, and Sony, who declined to comment when contacted, could course correct and decide to take a bigger hit on each console sold by lowering the price to match that of the Xbox Series X. Now, they do have an update here because when I first read this, I was like, I don't know. Part of it does sound believable. What it's basically implying is that if Sony were to decide to take the digital edition of the PS5 to match the price of the Series X, not the S, then that means the digital edition of the PS5 would be $500 and the disc-based version could potentially be $550 or even $600. Now, the only reason I consider this plausible is because of how quiet Sony has still been with the PS5. Now, do I suspect that Sony would ever consider releasing a PS5 at $600? I don't. Honestly, the only way I could ever see that happening is if we found out the Series X was going to be $600. Maybe then Sony would be like, okay, maybe it's not so bad at this point if our competition's also pricing it at that $600 price point. Maybe that is what Sony was waiting to find out. But there is an update here, and to me this is the really important part. It says, such is the fast-moving nature of the business that we're already hearing reports from multiple sources that Sony has taken the decision to slash the price of the PS5 in response to an aggressive price point of the Xbox Series S and Series X. Since writing up our original report, we've heard that Sony is considering pricing the discless PS5 at $399 and the premium edition of the PlayStation 5 will match the Series X with a $499 price point. Now, they do say here we have to take all this with a pinch of salt, and they are not necessarily revealing their sources. So, you know, you have to take this for what it is, but the timing of it is interesting, and I do not doubt that there are people within the industry right now who are aware of the things that Sony is maybe adjusting behind the scenes. To be honest, I'm shocked something hasn't leaked out by now. It would not surprise me if something does leak out before we get the official announcement, but this is the closest thing we have to go on. And it does sound like Sony, maybe this is why they were waiting this whole time, is they just needed to know just how aggressive the Series S price point would be. But I think what's more important to Sony, honestly, at this point, at least what's becoming clear to me, is they were waiting to find out the price of the Series X more than anything, because that is the main competition for the PS5 in terms of, power to price point and whatnot. So if this is to be believed, it seems like what I've suspected all along, and I don't mean to make it sound like I'm the only one who has suspected this, because that's obviously not true, but it's something that to me seemed kind of obvious. We will see a $400 digital PS5 and a $500 disc-based PS5. Now, that could end up being completely false. I want to say that there's just no way at this point, considering Microsoft has a $300 next-gen Xbox they can sell customers, regardless of our thoughts on it, regardless of our understanding that it's significantly less powerful and the PS5 is going to offer a lot more than the Series S, thus justifying the higher price point. It's still a really great deal on the surface for anybody who's looking to upgrade to next gen. So I think this makes the most sense. This is what I'm anticipating. And if Sony is smart, they will ensure that they hit that $400 price point with at least one version of the PS5, because I think if they don't, well, the Series S, I think, could end up, having a big impact on PlayStation 5 sales potentially. So moving on from that, we're talking about PlayStation 5 accessories getting a November 20th release date on Amazon Japan. See, it's starting to seem like things are leaking out. And considering how close we are to these consoles launching, the launch month, any leak we get is becoming much more believable in my opinion. It says here, while Sony seems content to sit and keep mum on the PS5 release date and price in wake of Microsoft's recent reveals, a listing on Amazon Japan has seemingly hinted we could be looking at a November 20th launch date, at least in that country anyway. The retail giant has posted a couple of listings for various PS5 accessories, including the charging stand, headset, and attachment for the DualSense. What's more, all three items are listed for November 20th, 2020. And so it does say here that this could just be the release date for Japan, just for that country, but that seems very unlikely to me. We've discussed this many times so far, where it seems like Sony is going to be striving for a simultaneous worldwide launch. Jim Ryan confirmed as much. So November 20th is a date that does make a lot of sense, because if I'm not mistaken, I will double check right now, that is a Friday, and that is a very common day for a new console to release. Now, we know that the next-gen Xbox consoles are releasing on a Tuesday, but Sony releasing the PlayStation 5 on November 20th, it is a Friday, and it is before Black Friday as well, so that would make a lot of sense. It does seem like this could really be the release date of the PS5. I've always believed it was going to be either the 13th or the 20th, and after seeing this listing pop up, it's looking like it's going to be the 20th. So one last thing, there's actually two things I want to mention here briefly before ending this video. You guys might find it interesting. Again, it's all rumor territory, but we are referring once again to Roberto Serrano. And I know that there are a lot of people who get on this guy's case and say that we shouldn't believe him, that he's just guessing. I can tell you right now, he's not just guessing. He does have a source, but the problem with the situation, as I've explained before, is that the sources sometimes, even the sources can be wrong, because you have to understand his source is not Jim Ryan or Mark Cerny, right? Like, not the people at the very top who know exactly what's going to happen. Or I should say, his sources are not the people who are making the final last-minute decisions. That's what I'm trying to say. So his source is essentially somebody who gets word internally of what the decision that Sony made was, and then he relays it to Roberto Serrano. And so first he says here, PlayStation 5 pre-orders start October 1st. This is more than a rumor, but it's not yet the final date that Sony decided to choose. And he kind of says that in his opinion, you know, it's too late. He says, you know, they're going to announce the pre-orders are going to open for both the standard edition and the digital edition. And I agree with this. If this is in fact true, maybe that was the original date set. Now, October 1st may sound crazy to some people. It doesn't sound that crazy to me because you have to understand Microsoft confirmed, or Phil Spencer confirmed yesterday, that their plans were for next week to reveal the Series S, to reveal the price, to reveal the release date and pre-orders and all that stuff. So with that in mind, if Sony knew that, and I have a good feeling Sony did know that, then Sony would have had their plans to announce all of their stuff during the last week of September. Even though I think that's pushing it way too far, they would have done that because, as I said before, Sony will not go before Microsoft, in case you can't tell by now. So the idea that they would announce during the last week of September that pre-orders are going to go live on October 1st, that's not crazy. But he is saying here this date is not yet final, and I'm sure that's because things are changing now. We have to understand that this leak, this Microsoft leak, affects Sony's plans as well, maybe in a good way for us anyway. I hope this is true. I hope this is true, but this is all the info I have for you guys today. I wanted to make this video because I know that PlayStation fans are getting very antsy now that Microsoft has revealed everything and laid everything out on the table. I know that our patience is being tested even more so now than ever before. But I wanted to make sure to relay this info to you guys so you can stay up to date. It's sounding like Sony is, as we all expected, making some last-minute adjustments to the pricing of the PS5, which is why they haven't announced it yet. We're seeing that accessories are going up on the Amazon Japan website, claiming that it's going to release on November 20th. And we have Roberto Serrano letting us know what potentially Sony's plans are for the remainder of the month. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Again, leave the video a like if you did enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the bell notification icon so you never miss an upload, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.